All right, let's talk about memory. We're going to skip the fluff and get right to it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you 5 science-backed steps to seriously improve your memory, starting like right now. The cool part? We're not fighting your brain. We're going to learn its own rules and use them to our advantage.
You know that feeling, right? It's like your brain is a leaky bucket. You pour information in and it just drips out. Maybe you studied for hours for a test only to blank out, or you walk into the kitchen and have no idea why you went in there. It's super frustrating, I get it. But here's the thing, it's not a bug. It's actually a feature of how your brain is designed.
So why does this even happen? Well, if we want to get better at remembering, we first have to figure out why we forget. And it all boils down to one really important idea. Your brain has a built-in filter.
Just think about it for a second. Every single moment, your brain is getting bombarded with a massive wave of information. Sights, sounds, thoughts. If it tried to save everything, it would literally crash. So it acts like a super aggressive spam filter. It's constantly deciding, okay, this is important, I'll keep it. And nope, this is spam, delete it. So our job? Our job is to become experts at telling our brain, hey, this stuff is important.
And that brings us right to our very first technique. If you want to signal to your brain that something is important, you have to focus. But, and this is the secret sauce, it's about working with your brain's natural rhythm, not trying to force it.
See, most of us think focus is like this laser beam we can just point at will, but it's not like that at all. It's much more like a wave. It comes and goes. You know those moments when you're totally in the zone, and then other times when even reading a single page feels like climbing a mountain? The trick isn't to fight that tide. It's to learn how to surf those waves. And a super simple but really powerful way to do this is called the Pomodoro technique. Here's how it works. You go hard, focusing for just 25 minutes. Then, and this is the part people always skip, but it's absolutely crucial, you take a short 5-minute break. That little break isn't you being lazy, it's actually when your brain gets to catch its breath, process what you just learned, and file it away properly. It's a total game changer for retention. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. The person in our source material actually used this exact strategy for their exams. They did these short study bursts with little breaks in between. And the result? They remembered so much more and with way less stress. And just proves that it's all about working smarter, not just harder. Okay, our next technique, this one is a real game changer. It gets to the heart of the difference between kinda sorta recognizing something and truly knowing it. The secret is to stop just passively rereading your notes and start actively testing yourself.
Think about it like this. Passive rereading, just glancing over your notes again and again, that's like looking at a map of a city. Everything looks familiar, you nod along, yep, I know that street. But active recall, that's like being dropped in the middle of that city without the map and having to actually find your way home. It's that struggle, that effort of trying to pull the information out of your own head that forges those strong memory connections.
And here's a dead simple example of how to do it. Instead of just reading the sentence, Delhi is the capital of India, over and over, you flip it. You ask yourself, what is the capital of India? That little flip forces your brain into retrieval mode, and every time you successfully answer, you're basically paving that neural pathway a little deeper. So when's the best time to do this little self-quiz? Well, according to the experts, there's this golden window, about 1 to 2 hours after you first learn something. And why then? Because you're catching the forgetting curve right as it starts to dip. You're basically sending a memo to your brain that says, hey, pay attention. This bit of info is important. Don't you dare delete it. All right, so we know when to study and how to review. But what happens when the topic you're trying to learn is just huge and overwhelming? That's where our next strategy comes in. It's all about packing your knowledge using chunking and your senses. Just take a look at this number on your screen. Trying to memorize that big, long string of digits, it's pretty tough, right? Your brain just kind of wants to give up before it even starts. But what about now? It's the exact same number, but I bet it's instantly way, way easier to remember. All we did was break it into smaller, more digestible groups. This little trick is called chunking, and the analogy from the source is just perfect. Think of it like packing for a trip. You wouldn't try to carry every single piece of clothing in your hands, right? Of course not. You fold them up and pack them into one suitcase. Your brain works the exact same way. It loves neatly packed chunks of information. And to make those chunks really stick, You've got to get your senses involved. Don't just see it on the page. Say it out loud so you can hear yourself. Even better, write it down by hand so you can feel the movement of forming the words. Every sense you use is like adding another hook for that memory in your brain, making it that much harder to fall out.
Okay, we're at our final and honestly, maybe the most important technique of all. You can do everything else right. You can focus, you can test yourself, you can chunk, but if you skip this last step, all that effort can literally disappear while you sleep. We need to talk about rest and recovery.
This right here is such a huge mental shift for most people. We think the learning happens when we're studying, but really, the memory happens when we're sleeping. That's not downtown for your brain. When you're asleep, your brain is working overtime, organizing, strengthening, and filing away all the important stuff from the day into your long-term storage.
So how do we cement that learning? Two key things. First, sleep. It's just non-negotiable for memory, period. And second, exercise. When you get moving, your body produces this amazing protein called BDNF. The best way to think of it is like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. It helps grow new connections and makes the old ones stronger. It's literally building a better, stronger house for your memories to live in.
So let's put it all together. Here's your brand new memory toolkit. Step 1, know that your brain has a filter. Step 2, focus in short, powerful waves. Step 3, test yourself constantly. Don't just reread. Step 4, chunk the big stuff and use all your senses. And finally, step 5, make it all stick with proper rest and exercise. And that's it. 5 incredibly powerful ways to start working with your brain instead of against it. The tools are all yours now. So the only question is, which one are you going to try first?